These are the instructions for Workplace 8B, roll and subtract 1,000. Each player will need a pencil, and players will share 3 dice numbered 1 through 6 and a record sheet. Players will write their names and today's date at the top of the record sheet. Players will roll the dice, one of the dice to determine who goes first. And then once we know who goes first, that person will roll all 3 dice like this. And then they're going to make a 3-digit number out of the 3 numerals that they have here. So in my case, I could make 646 or 466 or any arrangement that I want to do with my 3 dice. But my goal, I have to remember, is to have the smallest difference. You might remember that difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. So I believe I'm going to try to form the largest number that I can, and that's going to be 664. So I'm going to put that in here for Maria. And now I need to subtract 664 from 1,000. I can do that using any of the great strategies that I've learned this year. I've learned how to use a number line. I could use base 10 pieces. I could make a labeled sketch. I could use partial differences or any of those great strategies that you've studied this year. So I know that this answer is 336. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. All right. And now that I've determined that, I want to check with player 2 and make sure player 2 agrees that this really is the correct answer. Once I've verified that, I'm going to also take that answer, and it's going to be my starting value in the second round. So I'm going to put that down there real quickly. All right. Now we would go over to player 2. Player 2 would follow those exact same steps. Now I'm going to pause the video and finish the game and show you how the very last few steps go. All right, so here you can see that I have finished the game for both players. And once I knew what all of the differences were for each round, I added those together. So here's the total for player 1. And then look what happened with player 2. When player 2 got to the second round, they were able to get a difference of 5. And so when they came down to the last round, they chose to use only 1 die. So you might keep in mind that in the second round, you may get a roll that will not allow you to make a 3-digit number that you can subtract. So you may have to roll again. And on the last time, the last round, you might choose to only roll 1 or 2 dice, depending on how small your numbers are when you get down this far. So as you can see, the winner was player 2. Player 2 had a total of 351, and player 1 had a total of 437. So the very last thing to do is to write those as comparison statements, which they will do right down here. Each player, this player would write 437 is greater than 351. This player would also write the same thing, and then they want you to also to write it with a less than sign in the middle. And that is how you play roll and subtract 1,000.